let's get to the what's shaping up to be the big news of the day. If this all pans out, remember you heard it here first. Carl DeMaio, the Republican assemblyman from the San Diego area, has been on our show a number of times. He put out a tweet which said that California should brace itself for more than just $8 per gallon of gas. I just left a closed-door briefing for legislators. We were told the California oil industry is on the brink of collapse, and there's a pending pipeline shutdown. Result, $10 to $12 a gallon gas and gas rationing. Boy, that's four hammers to the head, right? Brink of collapse, pending pipeline shutdown, $10 to $12 a gallon, gas rationing. Yikes. Carl.
Yeah, no, it's alarming, and it's worse than people can possibly imagine. And, of course, the liberal media in California either not wanting to understand or not wanting to actually cover this because it is quite alarming. We did get a private briefing from oil and gas industry experts. They say that they're in negotiations with the governor, that the governor knows that this crisis is happening. It's kind of odd, though, that the governor's office just put out a tweet saying that what I'm saying is wrong, it's not going to happen. Basically, put your head back in the sand and not worry about it. But here's what's going on. Nationwide, gas prices are plummeting because President Trump's energy policies have been very successful in driving down the cost of both oil as well as the refined gas. However, in California, we are not going to be saved by Trump's energy policies because we are on an energy island. We do not have a pipeline that connects to the rest of the country, and that's been the case for decades. So we have to either pump our own oil and refine our own oil with all these crazy regulations within our own state, or we have to import it through these large tankers that makes it more expensive. Of course, foreign oil does not come with environmental protections the same way we have in California. So what's happened in California is that in the past year, we typically have 3,000 permits for oil drilling. In the last year, we've only had 40, because Newsom and the Democrats have choked any ability to produce oil, making us more dependent on foreign oil. Then secondly, they have so overregulated the refineries that the refineries are shutting down. And in fact, Phillips 66 and another refinery shutting down in the next several months. That's a 20% reduction in capacity for oil refining into gasoline. Well, what does that mean? Now in the state of California, we do not have the refining capacity, even if we do get the oil, to actually supply the market with enough gasoline to power our cars, which will lead to shortages, but worse, it will lead to $10 to $12 of gas. Now, let me circle back to that pipeline issue. I was not even aware of this until the closed-door briefing. California does have a pipeline that takes the oil from the ports as well as the oil from Central Valley and transports it to, you guessed it, the remaining refineries. But they need enough pressure on the pipeline in order for it to continue to operate. They also need it to economically pencil out. Unfortunately, because no one is drilling for oil, no one is pumping for oil in the state of California, the pipeline is in danger of being shut down this year. And this would be an absolute disaster for the state. And the industry says it's not our job to run a pipeline that is economically not viable. So this is going to be the next shoe to drop. And they're saying that this decision might be made in the next 90 days, 120 days, and that they have privately briefed the governor. And even the governor has realized that his Green New Deal scam has created a complete disaster. And so they're trying to come up with a way to blame Trump, but they know that this is about to happen. Again, this is a briefing that Democrat policymakers have been given, the governors have been given, and now Republicans were given this week. And it spells a lot of pain at the pump for California consumers. And this is despite the fact that oil prices, gas prices are way down nationwide. And so California needs to act. I'm calling on the governor to call an emergency session of the legislature to stand before us and take questions questions himself. Because this SOB knows what's going on. He created this crisis, and now he's denying it. That's why I put out my message today, because I said, look, people need to know about this. I'm not going to just keep this quiet. People need to know. They said, well, if you let this information out the door, then it might actually cause even more market disruption. I'm sorry, more disruption than the government bureaucrats and politicians have created. I think they've done enough damage. I think people deserve the truth.
So the oil industry says they can't run the pipeline anymore. It just doesn't work financially because there's so little oil in it. We're producing so little.
Even from an engineering standpoint, apparently they need a certain amount of pressure. And if there's not enough oil being put through the pipeline, it no longer works. Again, I'm not an engineer. I'm also not an oil and gas financial expert. But when they come and they say, we're warning you that we're going to shut down the pipeline, they've already shut down refineries. And guess what, John? They warned us they were going to shut down the refineries, and the politicians ignored the warnings. The media refused to cover the warnings. And then when these refineries announced just a couple weeks ago that they're shutting down, everyone says, oh, well, I guess that means we're going to have higher gas prices. $8 is a best case scenario. They're now saying 10 to 12 or worse, that we literally will have gas stations with no gas in them whatsoever. If you thought Jimmy Carter's gas crisis was bad, wait till you see Gavin Newsom's. It's about to happen.
Is there any sign he's going to do anything about this?
Yeah, yes, I was told that the governor realizes that there's a problem and that they need to back off the Green New Deal, but they're looking for a, quote, face-saving way to do it. I'll tell you what the face-saving way is. How can we blame this on Donald Trump? Well, guess what? Trump, take a look at the numbers nationwide. Oil prices have gone down substantially. Gasoline prices with the refinery kicking in, gone down substantially. So Trump is actually, getting the price of oil and gas back down to where it was in his first administration because of his policies. And so they can't easily blame it on Trump. And this is what the big problem is. They don't want to go public until they have a way to say, well, it's Trump's fault.
44 states, the gas is under $3.50 a gallon in 44 states. So if Trump had this bad, costly energy policy, it wouldn't just be affecting California. I mean, we're
in fact, I will tell you that I think that the governor was cheering for a disaster with Iran and shutting down the Straits of
Hormuz.
Middle East. Hormuz, so that he could easily blame it on Trump. I'm sure that he was literally praying this weekend that there would be a global conflict that would disrupt oil so he could blame it on Trump and then roll this whole thing out. That did not happen. Oil and gas prices have gone down dramatically each and every day this week because the situation has seemingly settled down, and God willing, it continues to be settled down. But this issue is going to hit California this summer. It's not one of these things that, the regulations kick into effect in a few months. Yes, we have bad regulations, but all of this is the perfect storm hitting at the same time. And the media in California doesn't even understand what's going on, and they're certainly not prepared to report on it.
Doesn't understand it. You explained it in 3.5 lines in your ex post. It's 3.5 lines.
I've been covering the oil disruption and the refinery regulations and the CARB and the gas tax issues. I didn't know about the engineering challenges with this pipeline and how dependent we are on it. I knew that we were in an oil, a gas desert. We're basically an island here in California. We're not connected to the rest of the country. So it's impossible for us to solve this issue unless we literally go to foreign countries and say, can you please now, instead of just shipping us oil, we need you to refine gasoline in your foreign country and ship us in tankers at a very expensive cost, refined gasoline to our state standards. And I think that's where the governor is going. I think that's where the governor is going to ultimately land, is we're going to buy all of our gasoline refined from foreign countries. Great. We're going to outsource all of our energy sector to other countries.
Which is going to cost a fortune. Carl, thank you for coming on. Let us know when you learn more. All right?
All right, thank you.
Carl DeMaio. We've been telling you about this for weeks and weeks and weeks, and one by one, all this stuff is coming true. you are going to have a gas tax increase 1st of July, a few cents. But then the big one is 65-cent increase because the California Air Resources Board has insisted on a low-carbon fuel standard. And the Republicans in the legislature tried to get a bill passed to block it, but the Democrats said no, so it's going to go through. Denny Cullenwald is vice chair of the California Independent Emissions Market Advisory Committee and said the near-term...
Total 1 mile, 30 minutes 21 seconds, 2,451 steps. Heart rate 93 beats per minute.
Term effects from this new fuel standard. It's going to be 65 cents a gallon this year. It'll be 85 cents a gallon by 2030, $1.50 a gallon by 2035. And now we just had Carl DeMaio on. And we had told you a couple of weeks ago that there's 2 refineries that are closing. There's a Phillips 66 refinery. There's a Valero refinery closing in Northern California. The Phillips refinery is down here in the Carson, Wilmington area. Both refineries are going to close, and that's why the gas prices just from the refineries closing and from the low-carbon fuel standard, $8. And now Carl DeMaio put out a post, and he detailed this meeting, closed-door briefing from oil industry executives for the legislators. California oil industry is about to collapse. There's a pending pipeline shutdown. We pump so little gas, so little oil, rather, that engineering-wise, they can't keep the pipeline flowing. It's going to shut down. It's also economically unfeasible because Newsom will not let the oil companies pump for oil. Well, we have a tremendous amount of oil here, huge amount. Not allowed to get at any of it. And to refine it from oil to gas, there's such costly, complicated regulations. So the whole industry is just shutting down for economic reasons and now energy engineering reasons. They literally don't have the pressure to pump the oil through the pipelines to get them to the refineries. So you're looking at $10 to $12 a gallon in gas rationing. The Democrats had their own briefing. Newsom had his own briefing. The oil executives told the Republicans, Newsom knows about this. We told him. He knows. Of course, he didn't say anything, did he? Carl leaked it. They wanted to keep this a secret because it might cause more market disruptions. No, it should cause political disruptions if we lived in a normal time. But this is such a wildly abnormal time where people are either lost in the progressive religion or they're completely out to lunch, not paying any attention, consumed by social media and texting and whatever the hell is going on your phone. I mean, the porn must be really, really good these days because it seems like nobody is gazing away from their screen. This all will happen. We're trying like hell to get Michael Mache on, the USC professor, who first told us about all this. He had a pair of studies out earlier this year. One of them said, for 50 years, we've paid much higher prices. And he goes, it's entirely self-inflicted. There's no gouging by the oil companies. That was totally a fake issue, a lie by Gavin Newsom. And you heard what Carl said. Newsom was banking on that the whole Iran situation would blow up and he could blame it on Trump. You can't blame it on Trump, and you can't blame it on the oil companies because there's 44 states where gas is going under $3.50 a gallon, and we're headed for $5, $6, $8 a gallon. Nobody to blame but the governor and the legislature, and really the governor, because he can put his foot down on this and order the legislature to stop this nonsense. But this is what the people choose. This is what you all vote for. So all we can do here is give you the warning. The LA Times has admitted that probably 70 cent a gallon increase in July between the sales tax increase or excise tax increase, whatever the hell they call it, and then the California Air Resources Board increase. By the way, the former head of the California Air Resources Board has admitted now she's out of power. She ran the thing for 17 years. What's her name? Her name is Mary something. And we've been carrying on about her a long time. She admitted the other day that everything's gone too far. You know, the electric car ban, the gas-powered car ban, the electric car mandate, blah, 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 blah. Mary Nichols, that's her name. Totally unknown person. Nobody would recognize her in the street. She had ironclad control on energy policy in the state. And now she's gone. And now she's saying, oh, yeah, maybe we went too far. You stupid, stupid person. Yeah. After they're gone, oh, yeah, maybe we went too far. No gas-powered cars, only electric cars, no electrical charging systems of any note, no electrical grid to support the whole thing. Refineries are shutting down, pipelines are shutting down, no oil pumping is going on, and now you're looking at gas rationing and $10 a gallon. Okay. But hey, don't try paying attention and certainly don't vote any different. Life is just great.